this redistricting process, please explain to me if it's the same or different than previous redistricting processes. Could you do that, please?
I can tell you that we noticed a lot of inconsistencies, and I was able to testify about this because we are in litigation, and it is so interesting that the state for 4 years has been arguing how these maps were race neutral and how great these maps were. And we do know that every single Republican voted for these maps, but now all of a sudden they don't like the maps that they put into place. But nevertheless, I will tell you that there was some random person or persons that were in some random room that were drawing maps. I never got to see the person. We heard rumblings that it was a guy that had messed up maps, I believe in Colorado or some other state he had been in. And so this was not a matter, just for the people that are sitting here. We have the ability to draw maps as lawmakers. There is this thing called Red Apple. And we actually, when it comes down to doing our maps for the State House, we didn't let some random person in the room come and draw those for us. We actually drew the maps ourselves. And so I participated. I offered an amendment specifically on TX-30, which I was not representing or running for at that time. And in order for me to get my amendment approved to even be able to make the amendment, number one, we had to pre-file, which that never happened. We had gone through redistricting for our state house maps. There was no pre-filing of the amendment required before you could actually bring the amendment to the floor. So I had to pre-file with an amendment, and then ultimately, before I could actually bring the amendment on the floor, whoever these random people were in the room, I never got to go. I had to hand my amendment off to one of my colleagues from the Republican side. They then went to the people in the back somewhere. Then they came back out and told me whether or not I could actually present my amendment on the floor. We also know that they did what they're doing now, which is pretended as if they were going to draw some maps, but in actuality, somebody else is going to give them the maps. And then they had people testifying as if they were listening, but then there is no clear record for the courts about how people feel when they directly impact their districts, because they weren't given an opportunity to talk about the impact on their districts because they don't know the impacts. So, but they get to say that we did hear from them when you really didn't. So in order to file, would you agree with me that in order to file an amendment, there's got to be something filed? Yes.
And I have to like it or not?
Yes.
And then if I think something needs to be changed, then I file an amendment to change that. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes.
Okay. So in the process that we're having right now, there literally is nothing to file an amendment on. Would you agree with me?
Correct.
Right. And so let me ask you this. Whenever there's a map proposed, because whenever there's one filed, and for purposes of people who don't understand, the way that a bill looks for a map is it has a whole bunch of like zip codes.
Yes.
It tells all of the zip codes that are a part of whatever congressional district it is. So it's hard to tell what it looks like on the paper, right? So, but sometimes you can see the picture when you file what the map actually looks like in Red Apple.
Correct. So my amendment, it had the picture of the district. So you could see the counties, you could see, because TX-30 fell under the Voting Rights Act, it was important to lay out what the citizen voting age population was as well, to make sure that there were no violations. So it's a little bit more, but you do get typically a picture.
But my point is this: after you give them the picture and the people in Ledge Council redistricting put all the zip codes in there, then you can tell. And would you say that's, and this is a yes or no question, is it simple or is it complicated?
Oh, the entire process is very complicated.
Right. And the reason I bring that up is the fact that we're not having public hearings where people have time in advance to look at these maps so that they can figure out where all these zip codes are, to see how it affects them, is definitely a lack of transparency for the people that are fighting for their rights to stay together. Would
Yeah.
you agree with that?
Yes, I would. I would say that this is not a flaw in the process, but instead this is
A design
correct.
in the process.
Correct.
And so that's a problem. So are you asking this committee specifically, who holds these public hearings, that once the bill is filed, that has everything divided up, that there be public hearings across the state so that people will actually know how this bill/map affects them, and only then can they make educated testimony about how the maps will affect them? Do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as we heard the chairman say, we are here to testify on this instead of for or against. And you know, as a representative, that typically when we have hearings, you are testifying for or against. But when we go to court, because this ultimately will go to court, because I know how Texas likes to do, ultimately, when you're looking at the record, it doesn't look like anybody was against it.
Exactly. Which is why when you come up to testify, and you understand this because you used to sit in this seat in the House, they're asking you to be neutral.
Correct.
Right? Which hurts us in court later. Correct? So are you asking, or you three Congress people asking, that after the bill with whatever map is shoved down our throats is filed, are you asking for us to have hearings, public hearings, evaluate and reflect and figure this out and talk to our constituents, to allow our constituents of Texas to come and testify about the specific harm or good that these maps or that this bill is going to do? Is that what you're asking?
We're absolutely asking for that.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you that as much time as they are spending during these field hearings without a map, they should absolutely invest even more time once they have the maps. So the idea that they're going to minimize the amount of time that people have to speak on this and actually do less when they have more is a problem, and that should be something seen as irregular in this process as well.